Welcome back, everyone, and I'm here again with SBR contributor Jordan Sharp, and today we're going to talk about a few NFL player props for this Monday night's matchup between the 49ers and the Rams. How you doing this morning, Jordan?
Doing good, Dax. Thanks, man.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you here. All right, man, so let's take a look at this first prop. We're going to go over, will Frank Gore go over or under 82.5 rushing yards? Now, the over right now is favored at minus 125, and the under's coming in at minus 115 at bet365.com. Now, Jordan, I think that you're going to be inclined here for the over. Is that correct?
Absolutely, Dax. I think that Frank Gore may be one of the better prop wagers here tonight. 82.5 rushing yards may seem like a lot, but for Frank Gore and the amount of touches and work that he should get in this game, I think it's just going to be a perfect storm here for the over. A little bit of juice at minus 125 for the over, but not enough to deter me away from a Rams defense that so far is giving up well over 150 rushing yards per game, ranking them 31st in per game value in the amount of rushing yards they've been giving up so far. That's not a good sign for a team that should be pretty good against the rush, considering their front seven just haven't been so far this season. And even though they've only given up one rushing touchdown so far this season to opposing running backs, Frank Gore is going to get the work tonight. If the 49ers want to win this game on the road, in the dome environment, they're going to have to feed the ball to Frank Gore at least 20 times. And as long as he averaged just over 4 yards per carry with that amount of workload, I think he's going to see a lot of work in this game, especially if the Niners get up early. They're going to feed the ball to him even more. So I'm going to go with over at minus 125.
Now, I think that there's an interesting stat here. It says that he's been fed the ball about 14.8 times per game, and he's been averaging about 73 yards per match. Now, do you still think that is the way to go?
I think so, because I think 14 may be just a little bit low. They've been really kind of tempering him right now just with Carlos Hyde, and make sure he's getting extra rest here, early in the season so he remains fresh the entire year. Obviously, Frank Gore, not much of a spring chicken, but on 14 carries per game, and he's still averaging 73 yards. All he needs is like 3 or 4 more carries to catch the over here. And against a team like the Rams, like I said, that's giving up so many rushing yards, you have to figure Frank Gore is going to be an integral part of the game plan tonight for that Niners offense. Like I said, I see him getting at least 17 or 18 touches, if not more in this game, maybe even upwards of 20. I think that's going to be enough to cash the over here. I'm pretty confident in him tonight.
All right. Now, the other prop that we're looking at will be, will Colin Kaepernick score a touchdown at any point of the game? Now, the money line for this one is at plus 250 at bet365.com. Now, do you actually believe that he can do this? I mean, so far this year, he's rushed for 205 yards and attempted 43 of them. He hasn't scored a touchdown yet. Now, what makes you believe that he can actually do it against the Rams in this game?
Yeah, good call. He has not scored a rushing touchdown yet. Obviously, this prop counts for a receiving touchdown. So if they throw some sort of trick play and Anquan Bolden throws him a touchdown, which is very possible because they do have that in their arsenal. We've seen that done before. So obviously it's going to be a rushing touchdown if anything. Yeah. And the Rams right now, along with a few other teams, have given up the most rushing the most rushing touchdowns to opposing quarterbacks of any team right now, tied with a few others. But I think that's a pretty big factor for this game right here. And Colin Kaepernick, his ability to run the football, we saw it yesterday with Cam Newton in the Panthers. They have had no rushing success, and they got him to start running the ball. I think they could potentially do the same with Colin Kaepernick here tonight. And I could see him running the option for a touchdown this week. Against a team, like we were saying, that is giving up a ton of rushing yards right now. You have to think that the run is going to be a huge part of the Niners' offensive game plan tonight. I think, obviously, this is a long shot. This is not going to be for the faint of heart. This is not something that's a 50-50 wager by far. This is something that you maybe put a half a unit or just 1 unit on. No, not going big on, but just for the chance. Considering, like I said, they've given up tied for the most rushing touchdowns to opposing quarterbacks. The fact that they can't stop the run right now, you have to think that Kaepernick's going to have 7 or 8 rushing attempts in this game. Probably going to be some in the red zone as well. So maybe he'll break free. I mean, the guy's still got wheels, so I think it could potentially happen tonight.
Well, he is averaging about 8.7 yards per carry, so I guess that would at least help him out to get the field, get the field yardage covered. All right. Anyways, the last prop that we have here is the race to points at bet365.com, or what's better known as the team to score a specific amount of points first. Now, in this case, I believe you're recommending that we side with the Niners to score 25 points first in the game with a plus 160 money line. Now, I'm sure that you did take into account that the Niners are putting up an average of 22 points per game, while the Rams are giving up 29.8 points per game in average. Now, what else are you actually basing yourself on that particular pick for this prop?
So the Niners have so far gotten to 25 points or more only twice this season, but both times they beat their opponent there. So that's another factor that I'm kind of making into play here. And on top of that, the Rams defense, as we've been talking about this entire time, because all of my props tonight are focused on the 49ers, it's just not been that great. And especially on field turf here, the Niners offense might be able to play just a little bit faster. And that offense has been looking a lot better recently, especially last week. So I think they're trending upward is kind of what I'm going with. And like you said, absolutely, the Rams are giving up close to 30 points per game so far this season, and a lot of rushing yards as well. So you have to think a rushing heavy team like the Niners going to have plenty of opportunities to score tonight. The Rams secondary is good, but it's not great. I think they can also exploit that with the amount of weapons they have. And one other huge factor in this is just value from Bet365, because the race to 20 points, the Niners are still in the chalk range, but it jumps up all the way to plus 160 from about minus 110 or minus 120 if they win the race to 20 points. If they just get to 25 points, it's at plus 160. So there's just a huge value jump there that I really caught my eye, and I think it's just a little bit too good to not take advantage of here, because total's still sitting around 43, 44 points, which, is going to be right around that 25-point margin. It would be over their team total just a few points here, but I think the Niners could really open it up here, get 3 or 4 touchdowns, and get to 25 points well before the St. Louis Rams. And with the plus 160 value here, I think you're looking at an incredible bet here for a prop wager from Bet365 on Monday Night Football.
All right, Jordan, I think the only one that I'm kind of worried about is that Frank Gore rushing yards, but for the rest of them, I'm pretty sold, my man. I mean, I think you got good, solid points on these, and I hope that we can actually get some payouts off of these.
Yeah, man, Gore's is going to be close. I will definitely agree with you there. That they have those odds pretty sharp right now at 82.5. But I think he can get there. All he's got to do is bust off a few long 10 or 12-yard runs, and I think he'll be all right.
I'm just still a little bit worried about his age, man. I mean, he's not the old youngin that we used to know from back in the day that could blow out 15, 20 yards at once. But anyways, I respect your call, man. And as always, Jordan, it's a pleasure talking football with you, man.
All right, thanks, Dax.
No problem. And for SBR Picks, this is Dax Floyd.
The SBR Network offers free sports picks and game breakdowns, big money free betting contests year-round, a real-time Vegas-style odds monitoring service, and much more. So come see for yourself. To stay updated on SBR news and promotions, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and do be sure to subscribe to the Sportsbook Review YouTube channel to catch all our daily sports shows.